Welcome everyone to episode 17 of the draft. Tonight we'll be drafting our teams for the Viva Mexico 250 down in Mexico City. As always, joined by Phil Eastman, Tino Patino. Guys, Phil, I'll start with you. We are coming off in what I thought was a really great race at Michigan. So how'd you like the race? How'd you do betting wise, fantasy wise? How was it?
Great weekend. The truck race gave me heart palpitations because the way that ended. But I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, Sunday worked out perfectly for me and my betting card and what we talked about on the Full Tank with Phil podcast. But the race itself, I mean, it was just a race that you're going to remember. It was a good one when we look back on the year, a highlight, just action throughout, a good race at the end, up front, just fantastic all around. So couldn't be happier coming out of Michigan with everything that we saw there.
Awesome. Pino, how'd you enjoy the race? How'd you do betting? How'd everything go?
I loved it. I thought it was an epic race. Helped too, being right there on the betting side of things. Obviously, Denny Hamlin, the favorite going into it, but I feel like that was still something that I was glad to be locked in about. In terms of the race as a whole, phenomenal. Like to be able to get this one. This was, I think, and I'm glad to talk about it now too, because I've been stirred on these thoughts. I've been thinking about it a lot. To be able to have a race like that included a lot of passing, some different strategies, but in the end, seeing the fastest cars still prevail and make their way back towards the front like they were in stage one at the end in stage three when it mattered most. And then having some different wild cards in there too, like Arsenal was for. Obviously, we knew he was going to be a factor, wasn't going to make it to the end on fuel, but it was still exciting to see. Then we're getting another William Byron, Denny Hamlin matchup. Chris Buescher's in the mix. If you guys know, I do my Tino three-peat parlay there to pick the top manufacturers, and I had William Byron top Chevy, Denny Hamlin top Toyota, and Chris Buescher top Ford. Willie B obviously run the last lap. That hurt, but it was still
Mhm.
awesome to be in that position. Anytime I can be feeling like one of those is going to work out, it's a good race because I'm going to have some sort of outright winner or prop plays or anything else in the mix there. So yeah, awesome race. Really glad that it worked out the way it did. And I think it sets up nicely to go to Mexico this weekend too.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like Byron and Hamlin are like the boys battling up top. It's been a lot of fun. We do go to Mexico for this race, but then we'll be right back at Pocono where I think we'll see some of the same speed we just saw at Michigan. So hopefully that one will be a fun one too a week from now. Sunday morning, I ended up adding in the Discord uh race winner minus 110 and under the number 17 and a half, the Denny winner, the Denny top five. So those bets on Sunday really helped. Came through, was up 7.5 units. Denny was fast, and we talked about it. The incident adjusted speed at the three Gen 7 Michigan races. We had Denny number one on the chart that we showed during the show last week. So that felt good that it came through. Hopefully, people were on that. I know some Win the Racers were. Now, this week, this could be a little chalky show. Well, one thing, let me just toot my own horn real quick. Got on the board. I got on the board. So 7 wins for Tino, 5 for me, 3 for Phil. It's a tight race. This was the closest one of the season, though. 297, 294, 293. Holy crap. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I guess I don't know what saved me there. Zane Smith, and you had Grags and
Yeah.
Tino, and then
Mm-hmm.
uh what about the wild card? Where'd Briscoe finish? Did Briscoe hurt you in the end, Phil, with that wild card pick?
Briscoe hurt me. He got into some trouble and couldn't recover. And then Busher really helped you over me with that picked you up about 8 points probably. So yeah, I think it was the Briscoe pick and the Busher pick.
If I remember right, too, didn't Brad have a penalty and then he still overcame that and
Yeah,
finished
he
top 10?
overcame that. Yep. And it
Yeah.
was funny because I had him and Jones top 10 picks at plus money midweek on the pod. And so Jones was obviously a longer shot. That missed by a smidge, but
Yeah.
Byron falling out uh, after he got passed helped me cash the Brad top 10. So I was very happy about that.
That's awesome. We talked about RFK all week long. I wrote him up in the DFS article. That was my core. Those three all finished top 10. So and for DFS too, they had great. Well, minus Busher, great place differential too. So glad that worked out for a lot of people. Had some big DFS days that win the race too, which was nice to see. All right, let's get into this week's race. So we are going to a road course, a street course, a road course in Mexico City. Um, as Greg and I were talking earlier, I need some. So I'll tell you guys this: Greg is going to fill in for me for the Chicago Street Race. Just a little, forewarning. He's 1-0 as a substitute, but I won't be able to make it that week, and that's why Street Race was on my mind there. But yeah, we're going to a road course in Mexico City. Something we've only seen once this year at Coda, and that was to start the year. I mean, that's a long time ago now, looking back. So we haven't seen these guys in this package. Let's do a little quick race preview. Phil, what can we expect to see at this track that I don't know what they raced some Busch Series or Xfinity Series back like 20 years ago?
Yeah, we had some Xfinity races back in the day. And so what we're getting here is a 2.429 mile track. They have multiple different ways of configuring this track. As you see there, they even have an oval in that drone shot there. But they're going to be using 15 turns. There's one huge straightaway, and then turns 4 and 11 this week. Maybe I have that incorrect, but I thought I saw turns 4 and 11 were the like paperclip type turns. That map right
I
there
pulled
doesn't
whatever
have
pictures I could find. They might
okay.
not be 100% correct. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think they
just
might
tried
be
to
using a
find the best
different
ones.
yeah, different one than that potentially, but because I think they're cutting off one of the turns. Anyway, couple opportunities for some passing there. Kind of reminds you a little bit of the Sonoma final turn if you're looking at it there. But we've got stage breaks after stage 1 is 20 laps, stage 2 is 25, and stage 3 is 55 for a total of 100 laps at this place. And kind of an interesting deal for us gamblers because we got a 3-day race or 3-day show with practice on Friday, multiple sessions. I think I saw. So it'll be interesting to see if they put the lines back up on this on the sports books to see if we can make any bets based off of practice. Then we have qualifying on Saturday, obviously the race on Sunday. So, but yeah, no other real data to pull from. Like you said, 2006 to 2008 or 9, they had some Xfinity races back then. There is some history with some drivers. Kyle Busch has a victor here. Excuse me, I got some bad allergies going on here, but Hamlin, Keselowski, AJ, McDowell, Suarez, they've all in some capacity been racing at Mexico City. So something to keep your eye on if you're kind of on the fence about one of those drivers or another. So yeah, it could be pretty good. Now you're gonna, at least for me, data sets looking nothing at this racetrack. So you're going to be looking at like kind of the next gen road courses. And if we're comparing it, I was calling it a true road course. So, while you can look at last year's road course set, including Chicago and the Roval, I also am comparing it more to Coda, Watkins Glen, and Sonoma since they're true road courses. So that's what I've got for you on the breakdown.
All right, cool. I saw too, like because of the altitude, there's like a 200 horsepower drop. Basically, is how they're going to run. Just, I guess that's how engines work. I never knew that. I read it this week. I was like, holy crap! And then someone had tweeted it out, and then I was just like, I don't know if I just chat GPT'd it or went somewhere. I was like, is this true? And then, yep, it's like they're expecting around 520 horsepower or something like that to be ran. Tino, what do you think of that? Do you think that makes it a little harder for these guys to make some passes on a course and package where it's already hard to pass?
I guess so, right? I'll be honest, first time like hearing that was I knew the altitude was different, but that's my first time hearing that that's the impact of that. So I would say yes, although I do like the layout of this racetrack. That's something that I wanted to note as well when Phil was breaking it down. You showing up those pictures too. I was a little concerned, what the track would be like, and then really getting into the prep and research this past week, seeing the outlook of the track gets me excited because looks like, although horsepower down and it is a road course and sometimes we struggle with passing there, I'm seeing some long straights. I'm seeing some high intensity braking zones in between there. And I feel like that's what makes a good road course. That's what Watkins Glen is. Coda put on a decent show earlier this year as well. So from that standpoint, I'm really excited to see what this track can produce. And I did watch some of those clips of the Xfinity races too being there, obviously a long time ago, but I thought that racing put on a good show as well.
Yeah, I think one thing to be excited for too is that we typically do really well on road courses. betting wise, anything. They're very predictable. It's not like, these other tracks where there's 10 to 15 guys who are like, if they're up front, you're not really surprised. There are some drivers who are really bad at this, really bad. They come here slow and they just can't do it at every road course we go to. So I think that helps make it a little easier for placement bets, matchups, things like that. So, all right. With that being said, let's get into the actual draft here. If it's your first time tuning in, we'll draft one driver from every team you see on the left. We'll do a big three pick. That's another pick from Hendrick, Joe Gibbs, or Penske. We'll do a best of the rest, which is from any team that's not listed on the left here. And then we'll make a wild card pick that can be from any team in NASCAR. We'll use true, NASCAR scoring for the point system. Whoever wins will pick a charity of their choice and win the race will donate to it the following week. So I think we're going to start off with some chalk here, boys, and that's fine. One thing we talked about before the show, this could be very chalky because, like we said, there are guys who are great at racing these road courses, and there are guys who are really bad at it. So that's going to make some of our choices very easy. However, if there's 3 or 4 teams I'm perfectly fine making a pivot to if you guys are both on that guy. So we'll see how that comes about. Let's start with Phil tonight. 23-11. Who do you have here as your first pick of the draft for Mexico City?
Yeah, I'd be shocked if you guys went a different angle here. Tyler Reddick is my pick, and he's going off at 9-1 on FanDuel. Last time I checked, that's where I got him. So I think he's still there now. And I just think that is a great line. I don't know what Win the Race has that is fair, Ryan, but he is. I said this on my pod this week. Like, how far back was it that he was like the odds-on favorite every week? He was the big dog. He was the one you were like praying, oh, don't be too short. And 9-1, that's pretty damn good. So I'm looking at the last 6 road courses, and I'm also looking at the last 10 next gen like true road courses that I mentioned. And doesn't really matter how we slice it. Like, Reddick is a beast here. He's the best average finish in the last 6 races. So that's going back to the start of 2024, 9.3. His driver rating is 5th, always has speed. And as Ryan, you highlighted, and I don't want to steal your thunder here, but it's out there for anyone to see. He qualifies well on these road courses. So he puts himself in position to do well. And at a track like this, where we don't really know what we're getting, I need a guy who I can trust that's going to start up front and, be fast off the truck to be able to do that in case there is chaos as we get, all these cars going around the track. I know that they're going to be practicing, but I need a guy up front to be able to kind of rely on there. So Reddick is my pick, and I like him, as an outright pick as well.
Yeah, 9-1's not bad. We have it fair. I looked it up when you said that, about 8-1. So a little bit of value there as far as what we're showing. When you look at just our purposes, I don't really count Riley Herbst in this. So it'd be Reddick versus Bubba. And we got Reddick winning that matchup 80% of the time. So give me Reddick here. You mentioned his qualifying. It's not just good, it's like unreal. It's 18 qualifying attempts on road courses in the Gen 7 car, 16 top 5 qualifying efforts in those 18 runs. And I only take them when, I don't know if we've ever had them rained out or not. I didn't really look at that, but I only take times. So I know that these are actually times that have been ran, not placed up there because of a formula. So 16 out of 18 times he qualified top 5. The only 2 misses were at the Glen. Kind of interesting. So maybe he just hasn't figured that one out yet. But yeah, I don't know. Give me Reddick here. I think it's an easy choice. Tino, who do you have for 23-11?
Tyler Reddick, SL muy bueno en el road course. That was my Spanish paying off from college and high school there. You give me Tyler Reddick, and another reason why that I'll throw in there for you guys, and you guys touched on all of them, but how he did in Chicago last year was a big standout to me. I think, Phil, to your point of him being the road course guy in the next gen era, right when that started, he had 3 road course wins like in 1 year, or it was in just a few races that we went to road courses. My point is, I think that the field caught up to him after that because he was dominant. He was very dominant wherever he went, and I think after that it would have been a little bit surprising to me if he continued that level of domination, because he would have just been one of the best road course drivers of all time, which maybe he is, maybe he isn't, still got a long career. My point is, I think it's now starting to get back to that full circle where, okay, the team's made adjustments. He's not going to win every road course race, and he's not going to have the same level of success. But when I'm talking about level of success, I'm talking about the wins. He's still got the top 5, still got the top 10, still got the stage wins. So that's why I love him in many different ways. Probably going to be a strong bet to place in terms of an outright winner, like Phil mentioned, especially when we're seeing that before practice and qualifying. To that point, if I'm going with any driver before practice and qualifying, it's probably him, because I don't really want to. There's some guys where I want to wait and see how they do, wait and see if they know the track. And I think for Tyler Reddick, with how he did in Chicago, tracks don't matter for him. He can go anywhere and dominate and win. So I like Tyler Reddick too.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I figured that'd be a sweet for us there. Now we head into a team front row where I don't know which way we're going to go here. I'll lead it off here because I don't have much to say about any of these guys on a road course, but I'll lead off with my pick and see where you guys go here. I'm going to go with Todd Gilliland. And maybe it's, I don't know, maybe you both had that too, but my reasoning is that in road courses last year, minus Chicago Street, plus Coda this year, 2 top 10s for Gilliland. He has the best true performance scores to win the race, the best true average running position, and the best average finish in those races amongst his teammates here. He's also qualified better in 3 straight road courses than his teammates. So, in everything I'm looking at, he's running ahead of these guys on road courses. Other than that, I can't really talk it up too crazy. I just think, this is a tough group to pick from. So, give me Todd Gilliland, and we'll go right back to Tino. Tino, who do you have here for front row?
Well, I'm glad you opened this one up for me to have the lone and only Zane Smith on the board right now. He's my guy when it comes to road courses. Seeing what he could do in the Truck Series, which feels like such a long time ago at this point for the guy. But he was dominant there. I felt like maybe I'm off on that, but I felt like anytime we were going to road course, he was one of the top trucks in that mix there. So I know he can get it done in that type of environment. In the Cup Series, just his past finishes, just to lay it out for you guys. 29th, that was earlier this year at Coda. 19th, 5th at Watkins Glen, 16th Sonoma, 19th Coda, then a couple of 30ths. But those are what we're expecting out of these type of front row guys. And I think if he can get it anywhere from 20th to maybe 10th to 20th, I'll be happy with that. That's all you really need. We saw how close it was too in the point standings just from last week. And the difference was Zane Smith. So even after that, regardless of if he had good finishes or not, I was going to go to him just so I can get my get back. But I think he has what it takes. Another thing too is just throw out other nuggets that I can, right? Because I feel like when we talk about this track, there's not too much to pull like we talked about earlier, but I saw him do an interview, Zoom interview. Claire B. Lang posted it, and he was talking about going to Mexico. He's been in Mexico a lot, vacations there, so maybe if it matters, he's more used to the environment, more used to the altitude change, all that. You never know what could help a guy. So I'll go Zane Smith.
No, I love that. What did someone say earlier? Someone said Stone Cold Steve Austin tequila drink or margarita. What is that?
Oh
Do we
yeah.
know what that is? David, explain more about that, please, and we'll come back to it. All right, Phil, who do you got for front row here?
Yeah, so for me, it's Todd Gilliland, and Todd Gilliland is a sneaky road course guy. Now, I think where my mind is going is give me 2 weeks on Gilliland before we can start talking about like an actual bet, because when we get back to Sonoma, I think I feel more confident in throwing a top 10 in on him. He's like plus 220. I really stared at it for this racetrack, but I need to, let it breathe a little bit. And maybe, if he doesn't do well, even better at Sonoma, because I trust him more on those tracks that he's been to. It's not a knock on Zane Smith. I agree with what Tino said. I think he's frisky. He's got momentum. He's got road course experience or success in the past in the trucks. It's just that Todd Gilliland has a better body of work. So an average of 14.4 last year. It's way better than his teammates. His speed rating way better than his teammates. He's just been faster. He's getting better finishes. It's just more of a body of work that I can look at and see with Gilliland. So I'm not in a position where I can take a risk at that team. So we'll go with Gilliland.
Nice. Todd the Bod, E of work.
The Todd father.
It's good. It's dad jokes. All right, so Hendricks, Phil, we're gonna stick right with you here, and you're gonna lead off the big
Beautiful.
three for us. I do think this is one that's very interesting because I don't know. There's no wrong pick here. I don't think so. I'm curious to see where you guys go. Phil, you lead it off here. HMS, what do you got?
Yeah, for HMS, so I'm going to explain myself and kind of justify myself by talking about a couple of them. I mean, I think Larson is the one that is kind of the elephant in the room. And for me, he's too inconsistent for me to take. I can't afford to have someone blow up. I can't afford to have someone finish 29th or 17th, in this group. I got to go with somebody that I can trust. Larson was 2 wins, but other than that, it's very sporadic over the last 6 races on right and left turns. So I'm going to go with William Byron here. And it's funny because I actually took a head to head against him this week, but it's more so about the next driver I'm going to talk about in the next segment in a head to head matchup over him. Byron is still a beast. And when we're talking about this game, he is too hard to ignore. He's fast kind of every time we go to a road course. His last 6 races, he's got to win 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s, really good driver rating, great average finish, speed rating. It's up there, especially the last couple races on road courses. And if we go to the last 10 true road courses, he's 2 wins, 4 top 5s, 50% hit rate for top 10s. It's like he'll be there. So I trust Byron more than I do Larson, which I kind of assume would be another name that might get called out. And kind of felt like I had to justify that. So that's where we're going with Hendrick for me, Willie B.
Awesome. Tino, what do you have here for Hendrick?
Well, I'm taking a chance. I've done this before. It's hurt me from time to time, but I'm going Chase Elliott, and he's going to be my top play here. He was my top Hendrick guy in terms of I hope this potential at this track. He was the road course king, right? Everyone knows that. That was his bread and butter, it seemed like, and now he's fallen off with the next gen car. I think in going to a track like this, where hey, in Chicago, he looked to potentially have that breakout again in terms of we're talking road courses and stuff like that. But then it was raining. He spun out in his, I think it was qualifying or practice lap, and I think that was one of the years, the first year, I believe. And I think that just ruined everything for him. Now we're getting to a track. Rain hopefully isn't a factor, and I think when the field is sort of leveled, just like how they were, when Chase Elliott came into the series, all the guys had more experience than him, but he still dominated road courses. I'd like to see it. Team 54 not agreeing, saying he'd fade Chase Elliott. Don't know what they do to fix that situation, but probably involves fire. Hey, that's fair. But when you go to a road course, this should be the fix. That's my thought process here. I don't think these same issues they've been having at these ovals and everything like that consistently, whether it's strategy or just lack of speed, I don't think that plays as big of an impact here on a road course. So that's why I'm thinking Chase Elliott to have a big day.
No, and that was my pick as well as Chase Elliott here. I went back and forth here with 3 of the 4 guys, but even the 4th isn't bad on roads. So it's like people look at it as like almost like a road course slump for Elliott, but it's not really. Like if you look at the last, so take out Chicago Street last year, look at Coda from this year, look at the 4 road courses last year, 3 top 5s for him. He has the 4th best average finish in that 5 race sample. Hoda this year qualified 3rd. He spins out. Remember, he got spun out in that first turn. He had to freaking battle back all day, and I think he finished. Did he finish top 5? That's one of them. Like he was, if I remember right, he was one of the fastest cars at the end of that race, just buzzing through the field. So I don't know. I mean, I understand he was dominant for a while, and then it kind of fell off for a little bit that one year. But then now it just seems like you take this 5 race sample, 3 top 5s, 4th best average finish. Maybe his road course racing is back. So give me Chase Elliott here. I looked at it as, almost the same reasoning Phil took Byron as the safe pick, staying away from Larson, like he said. So, all right, let's go right into Joe Gibbs. I'll lead off here. This might be a chalky one as well. And for Joe Gibbs, I have Christopher Bell, the number 1 average finish in the 4 road races last year and the one this year that I'm talking about. So I'm just not counting Chicago Street, but I'm looking at most recent road races. Number 1 average finish for him. He's one of 4 guys with an average finish inside the top 10, one of 2 guys with 4 top 10s in those 5 races. We're trying to point our way to the top in this game that we're playing. And he hasn't even qualified well. He's qualified 19th, 12th, 15th, 17th, 4th. He's just fast, and he's good at this. So I don't know if this dude can go out there and qualify well on the road, then look out. So he's already doing this qualifying mid pack. So give me Christopher Bell here. We're gonna jump to Tino. Tino, who do you have here?
Gonna be C-Bell as well for me. Don't think I can throw in anything else to make it sound that much better. How he's been, I feel like he's been getting better. And the one thing you mentioned too is the qualifying, seeing him go throughout the field, passing drivers. Not only is that hard to do every week, but on a road course, especially, we see sometimes guys just go backwards. So to see him be a guy that consistently goes forward is what I want in this one.
All right, awesome. Phil, JGR.
Same thing. Christopher Bell. Not much more else to say other than he is someone that could win this race. He is 8-1 on Caesars. I think that's pretty solid. And like you said, maybe after practice or qualifying on Saturday, his number maybe changes a little bit because he doesn't qualify all that well. And I wouldn't be scared off by that, but he's a factor on Sunday. So
yeah.
Need him.
Especially for those placement bets. I mean, he goes out there and qualifies 18th, see what his top 10, top 5 numbers are. I mean, hammer those things. So, awesome. Tino, we're going to jump right back to you for Team Penske. I think this is a team that's a little more wide open here. You guys could pick any of these 3 drivers, and I'm not really surprised. Curious to hear what your logic is. So you kick it off, Tino.
All right, sweet. Yeah, so in terms of logic, I don't know if it's that good of one to have here.
There's
Ryan
no
Blaney
wrong
was out
answers.
for me. Austin Cindric was a no-go. So I'm going Joey Logano, and my thinking for this one is going to be the fact that it's a new track. When Joey Logano goes to a new track, he seems to have just a knack for it. We saw him in the Clash win that. Now that's where you get the all right. Tino doesn't know what he's talking about, but it's different types of tracks. Clash was one of them. When they threw dirt on Bristol, he won that. There was a new one too. North Wilkesboro was a new track. I lost my thoughts there with the new track thing, but I feel like anytime we're going to them, the dirt one, he won. So he's not only going these new tracks, but he's winning them. So I think that's the biggest thing. I don't really have too much more to say. I hate to say, be the guy without that much data to provide for Joey Logano here, but I feel like Penske was probably the one where you can kind of just throw a dart at a
what do you say about Penske guys on the road course? It's like I was trying so hard to look at this, and it's like, oh, they all just run in the middle of the pack all day long, and like Blaney qualifies like total crap on roads for whatever reason. I don't think he did recently though. It might have been this year. I pulled up all the qualifying. Where did he qualify?
He started 28th at COTA this year.
Oh, yeah, no. So I was wrong. Yeah, he did suck at that. So
it might have been Sonoma last year you're thinking about. I remember thinking, oh, maybe Blaney's like good at road courses now. And then he just fell backwards.
Yeah, because he's not bad at them, but you know what? I'm gonna take Ryan Blaney here. I'm gonna take Ryan Blaney. We're talking about him a lot. I don't know, man. I mean, I think you got to flip a coin here. I think this makes it interesting for Phil. Do you want to go different and pick Cindric here, or just roll with one of us and kind of play the leverage game there? So, what do you want? I don't have anything good about Blaney other than, their incident adjusted speed's all the same. Their his average finish does beat everyone at Penske, but not by much on these. So, I guess that'll be my one shining light for Blaney here on road courses in the sample that I'm looking at. Phil, what do you got?
Man, so it's tough because I was fully prepared. I had Blaney written down, but now you have me thinking, like, just for the love of the game here, maybe go with a road course guy and Austin Cindric.
I'm fully prepared to switch to Austin Cindric if you want Ryan Blaney. You're the guy with the Ryan Blaney shirt anyways.
I mean, well, no, you can't put that on me. You can't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Because then whatever I choose, the opposite. You say you can't say too much good about Ryan Blaney, but like there is some good there. Like he does overcome some bad qualifying positions to finish like mid pack. And, while I think of Austin Cindric as a road course guy, like he really hasn't been all that much of a threat. Which I don't know if that's just, I'm forgetting that he was, fighting for it and gets knocked out or whatever. I haven't really dug that deep into it, but no matter how you slice it, he just hasn't been the guy that you kind of think of. But I'll go with Cindric and just kind of hope that this is a new track for everyone. He's more skilled at road courses than his two teammates, theoretically, and it works out for me here. So,
Yeah.
and I was, go ahead.
I was just saying, what was that race? Because when he first came in and he raced that, what the hell car was it? Was it like an extra Penske car, like a
Yeah, the 33 car.
the
He would race the
33, and
33 like Indy road course and shit like that. And then,
he was awesome.
he looked good. And then he
Yeah.
dominated in Xfinity, him and Ty Gibbs
Yeah.
alike. And for whatever reason, both those guys just it hasn't translated to Cup. I really thought that both these guys would be the SVGs of this when they first came up. But I'm going to cross my fingers this week and go with the 2 and see what we can come back with. Your boy Sean, dude, he's got to be pumped about. Somebody said it too. Like, where's your buddy?
Logano.
Where's your buddy? Sean?
There he is. There he is. He's in the chat now.
Oh, there he goes.
Saying the picks. Looking when you picked Cindric, he did not like that. And you guys were boys for the last few weeks. But if you don't pick Joey Logano, you're gonna lose, which Sean McBride missed last weekend, or maybe he was in here when I didn't pick him and almost won. So, but I appreciate you guys in the chat. Everyone's got him on, holding him accountable too. Shout out to Kyle. That made me send my buddy here a text, and then he got back in the chat here. So appreciate you joining us. Everyone in the chat already, and McBride for saying my Penske picks looking tasty. Hopefully it is. Hopefully Joey Logs can bring it home for me this weekend, Sean.
If you ever miss a race, Tino, Sean might have to be your fill-in. It'll be Joey Logano for everyone and try to justify that.
I have a couple guys here for big 3 guys. So I don't. Do one of you want to lead it off? Are you very confident in yours? And then we'll see where we go. We're all different right now, though, so there's really no reason to just pivot to pivot. Mm-hmm. So, like, I could give my top guy if you wanted. We've already talked about him, and then you guys can go if you want.
Go ahead.
All right, there's William Byron. So Byron was my original big 3 pick. You made a great point for him earlier, Phil, and for the same reasons, that's why I'm taking him. The top 5 finishes, all that, just rock solid. Bell and Byron. I talked about it with E-Step earlier today, like the killer bees. Bell and Byron are definitely legit here, and then I'm sure we'll talk about another one in a minute here. So give me him for my big 3 pick. Phil, we'll jump right back to you. Who do you have for your big 3?
All right. I'm going to go different all around here, and I'm going to hope and pray that this is going to, do some damage here from a point standpoint. Alex Bowman.
Again?
Big 3 pick.
That's surprising me. That's surprising after his crash last week. Because then were you Bowman last week too? Not to go, I know this is your spot here.
I think I was on Bowman last week.
Okay. You're a Bowman guy.
If I am, it's unconsciously. It's not.
He's been fast. When we pick Bowman, he's fast. Just things go wrong. It's like picking Hocevar.
Yeah.
You're right. So let me make my case here, Your Honor, and then you can sentence me. So, last 6 road course races, 10.8 average finish. That's 4th out of everyone, tied for 3rd actually with the aforementioned Chris Bell. So, like, he's not a slouch. 1 win, which was a cheapie at Chicago, but 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s, and he's one of 3 drivers that has finished in the top 20. 6 for 6. So if we're talking points here, he has shown the ability to just keep it on the track, get laps, finish top 20. So like where these other drivers that I mentioned, like Larson, and we're going to talk about another one later, that like sometimes struggles to get finishes, he's 6 for 6, top 20. So I'm not saying, like, I know that's a low bar, but only 3 drivers have done that. So He's been fast in Ryan's incident adjusted speed. He's better than Chase, better than Larson. I think he's one below Byron. So like he's definitely a sleeper. Now let me make another case here. The thing that we were talking about with Elliott, or somebody in the chat said like he's become quiet on the track, just like off the track. That got me thinking here. Like you guys are both on Elliott, and I was thinking about having Elliott in my big three, but Bowman's stats plus the off the track situation. We're going to a brand new market, a brand new country. What is NASCAR going to be doing? They're going to be parading out guys like Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, like all the, the faces of NASCAR, the Ryan Blaney's, the, Bubba Wallace's, Daniel Suarez's, who's just going to be able to sit in his trailer all week and play video games and do whatever. Alex Bowman. Out of all the Hendrick guys, Mexican fans are going to be asking for Alex Bowman. So I think there's a, little off track situation there as well when you're talking about picking Hendrick and also, big three situation. So I think Bowman is one to watch for this week.
That is a narrative that I did not think we were going to hear tonight, is that no Mexican fans came to see Alex Bowman.
Am I wrong? Prove me
There
wrong.
is, yeah.
Send
me a tweet if you're a
No,
Mexican fan out there and you're wearing
that's the
48
hard-hitting analysis the draft fans come for right there. That's it. I love it.
Wait, here's the best comment of the night, in my opinion, to follow that up by Kyle. Bowman can play games in his trailer during the race too.
I don't know what that means. Is he saying he's going to get out of the race early?
Yeah.
6 for 6 finishing top 20 kind of goes against that. So maybe on other tracks, but
he's over 600 on intermediates.
That's where my concern came from.
I'm not saying that he's going to like go out and win the race, but he's going to be a factor when it comes to getting some points here. I mean, where did he finish at COTA? He finished 4th at COTA, starting 17th. He's also going off against Carson Hocevar. He's plus 115 head to head on Bet365. He was plus 130 when I originally took it, and then it dropped before I recorded my podcast. That's absurd. To have him be, so much of an underdog against Hocevar. What has he done on road courses? No, thank you. So that's, I've said enough about Bowman. We've already spent.
I love it. When we got to Hendricks, I was like, I'm not surprised if you guys take any of the 4. I mean, I was focusing on the 3 a lot when I did all my research, but like, yeah, everything you said about Bowman, they're all legit. And we're going to a brand new place that none of these guys, like 3 of the guys have raced on. I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen. Tino, who do you have here for your big 3 pick? There's still a big dog out there. You going to take the big dog or what?
I don't think so. I think I'm probably, in terms of big dogs, to me, he's a little pup. And after my after my concern initially for jumping on Phil when he took Bowman, I wasn't valid compared to who I'm taking now. And Team 54 knows it. We're going back to Ty Gibbs. And I feel okay about this. I really do. Here's a bunch of things that are going our way right now. First, he gets a little uptick in speed last week. And when I say that is he rolled off earlier and still was able to get a good qualifying spot. Now, that's obviously Michigan, completely different track, not a road course. But when we're thinking about him on road courses, we see the potential there. If we talk about him potentially getting a win, that's what people talk about. Okay, take another step back. His last 4 road course finishes, terrible. It's just been 22nd was the best one, 34th at COTA earlier this year. Roval was 35th, Sonoma 37th. But okay, let's now think about it again. He's been in a slump. That's fine. Yep, there we go. Team 54. Now's your chance. Help me out here. COTA number skewed. He got damage on lap 1. When I think about Ty Gibbs, I think about his past performances at road courses prior to all of this things not going his way. 3rd at COTA, 4th at Roval, 5th at Watkins Glen, all in a row right before this string of bad luck that he had. Now, Brian helped me out. Most momentum Gibbs has had all year. He's been fast at Chicago, new road course street race. Maybe this is for him to potentially take a step forward, continuing that momentum. I think, and Kyle knows it, getting wild before the wild cards. Now, when it comes to wild
There we
card,
go.
I'm going to be even more wild. So I think all those factors playing to Ty Gibbs' hand. The biggest one I wanted to sort of follow home with in this one would be the fact that he will be rolling off late with that third place finish last weekend. Could really set himself up for success. I think, and I'm not Team 54, so you can help me out here if I'm wrong here. But I think that'll really benefit him. If he can get a strong qualifying run, which is aided by him rolling off late, start within the top 10, I think that's instant confidence for the guy. Rather than being mired back in traffic, racing around the squirrels, potentially losing his temper if something happens. And another big thing here, he's doing the Xfinity Series race. Extra reps on this road course is what I love. Those drivers who are doing double duty, I feel like will have a strong advantage going into the Cup Series race just from a rep standpoint at this track.
Yeah, get all that practice in. They got like 2 1-hour sessions or whatever it is, each Xfinity and Cup. And then Christopher Bell, we all took across the board for JGR. He's another one that's racing the Xfinity race. And then who else? Daniel Suarez, I think, pulling double duty. So yeah, all good points right there. Yeah, that is getting wild before the wild card round. I do love that. That's nice. What a quote. All right, RFK. I think this one probably going to be pretty chalky, boys. I'll start it out. Chris Buescher is going to be the pick here. To me, it's not even close. Mentioned like the killer bees, Bell, Byron, Buescher is another one you can throw in there. Only Bell and Buescher are 4 out of 5 top 10 finishes in the 5-race sample that I'm looking at. Last year's minus Chicago, this year's Coda. He's just a top 10 machine on these things. He'll forever be known for the one, when he ran down SVG at the Glen. I mean, that was just such a cool moment. Uh, and it's hard. Like, we don't really know what road course compares best to Mexico City until, we kind of see them on the track and correlate some things. But he's not a great qualifier, but that's kind of how it's been on these. Like we talked about it with Bell. Like I don't really care. He ends up very fast by the end of the race, can pass people, in multiple passing zones on these road courses, which not a lot of guys can. We talked about a certain skill that some of these guys have. You don't see it in everyone, but Buescher, Bell, those type guys can get by people on these tracks. So give me Buescher. Kez, like how many times is he going to spin out? That's like the game. That's the drinking game you can play on a road course. So you guys, tell me what you think. I'm Buescher. Let's go to Phil. Who do you got?
Yeah, it's Chris Buescher. He's a top 10 machine. He had a streak going for a really long time. I think it eclipsed like 10 races on road courses in a row. He's 9 for his last 10 true road courses. He's got, I think, 5 of the last 6. He's a top 10 machine, man. And Greg just said it in the chat. So I would be all over him. I have him for a top 10 already, minus 139. I think your point about the qualifying makes me hope that he does kind of fuck that up and then maybe get him for a top 10 at a better price than that. I would double. I'm not opposed to going back and double dipping on a better number. So, yeah, Chris Buescher all day, man.
Awesome. Tino, you rolling with us?
Oh, yeah, I got to. And the double dip is exactly what I was going to mention from Phil's standpoint, because I was at that Watkins Glen race and I was able to me, I counted him out when he qualified as bad as he did because no one had ever started that far behind and won in Watkins Glen, and he did it. So to me, to show, I already knew he was a top 10 machine, but to see him do something like that, well, hey, maybe some strategy comes into play too, but who's to say that doesn't happen here, right? So I think that's a big thing to say for Buescher. What he was able to do at Watkins Glen, not only from his continuous, top 10 finishes and being a strong road course driver, but I think the biggest thing was starting from the back there, or at least just mid pack and top 10 too. That I was going to say the same exact thing. If he can get him for higher value, I have no problem with, just like Phil said, minus 139 is great, but I feel like he is going to start further along, and if he does so, I'm going to be ready to capitalize on plus money top 10 for Chris Buescher. That'd be one of my favorite plays this week.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that was a pretty easy one for us there. But now we get to a team where I think you can go a couple different ways. I am perfectly fine taking 2 different drivers from this team. I wrote up one of them, but I'm fine pivoting. So I want to ask both of you, do either of you have one driver that you're significantly stronger on than the others in this one that you're going to take no matter what? Phil, Do you? I see you shaking your head. Yes,
I
you got
do.
your guy.
I
All
have
right,
my guy.
who's
Yeah,
your
I
guy?
don't. We're leaving 8 Mile, and I'm going with Eminem, Michael McDowell.
Nice.
He is the one for this group. I'm assuming you're going to go with the young buck, but um, I minus 106 is a top 10. You have him, Ryan, in your incident adjusted speed rating is 7th overall. He is, if you're looking for like the highest ranked driver on road courses, like closest to the break even number for a top 10, it's McDowell. And, the only concern that I have is that, he's moved over to Chevy, which we expected. Road course driver McDowell driving for Ford, which has struggled on road courses at least to get wins, coming over to Chevy, the one that's dominated, we expected to see great things and fireworks right away. We didn't get that at Coda. And
Mhm.
so now, re-upping, let's do it. I think he's going to maybe shock some people here, but some really good numbers. He's 9th in average finish in the last 6, 13.2, 2 top 5s, second at Sonoma last year. And then the last true road courses, 10 of them. He's 5 for 10, top 10. So he's a point people to death kind of guy on these road courses. And so I think it's going to take a tall order for someone in his team to finish ahead of him. So that's my case for Michael McDowell.
Awesome. Can't argue any of that. Tino, did you have a certain someone on this team that you liked a lot more than anyone else you're confident in and picking no matter what?
Yeah, it's Michael McDowell for everything Phil said. I don't need to elaborate too much further. To me, that was like the lot. I haven't been as locked in on Michael McDowell than I am this week. So I'm interested to see what your play is.
All right. Well, so when we simulate this race 20,000 times, we have McDowell minus 193 over Haley. So I'll throw Haley out. I was going to do that anyways. But we have him only minus 106 over Hocevar. And Hocevar, I think, is just one of those guys that's just going to be sneaky everywhere. I just have this feeling. I mean, we saw it at Atlanta. Like no one expected that. Completely different style track. He's doing it on the intermediates. And I don't think he's been bad on the roads. I'm trying to see where we have him. So I put those speed reads out, and the speed reads too even have them in the same exact category, one spot from each other. Top 10 capable contenders: Michael McDowell, Carson Hocevar. So I don't know, man. Like we had, so McDowell had fourth best true performance, Watkins Glen last year, Carson Hocevar fifth. Um, Carson Hocevar, 10th best true performance at Coda this year. And so, yeah, I guess that's going to be my pick, Carson Hocevar. And it's what Phil talked about coming to this new team. We expected some fireworks, driving a Chevy, and it just didn't happen. He was very mid all day. And his teammate, who's been way faster than him everywhere this year, was faster than him at Coda and better. So I'll go with the young buck. Give me Carson Hocevar. It always tends to bite me in the ass going against Michael McDowell and picking Hocevar for anyone who's listened to the show all year. But that's where I'm going to go here. Play the game a little bit.
Let me
Let's
just
jump
say,
to.
let me,
Oh,
let me
go ahead.
just
Go ahead.
say, McDowell had a steering issue at Coda this year, so we didn't really. And he was out after like 50 laps, so like we didn't get to see a full race, which is a shame. But and it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like it's a body of work situation. It's not that I like don't want to take Hocevar. I actually want to see him run mid pack so that way I can feel a little bit more confident taking him at Sonoma, if that makes sense. I don't want him to run too well because I don't want the cat to be out of the bag. But
Mm.
he performed really well. Put the car on the pole almost in the truck series with like a broken ankle at Sonoma. So like I'm kind of watching Hocevar's race from a distance, looking ahead 2 weeks. So I'll just say
All
that.
right, cool. No, good nuggets there. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I don't know. I had thought for best of rest and wild card that we were going to be like mega chalk here amongst the three of us. Um, I don't think it really matters who goes here for best of rest. I think we're going to be all the same. I don't know. Tino, why don't you lead it off? Who's your best of rest pick here?
Well, I'm glad you chose me because this driver is on my season-long draft team. It's
Mm.
SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen. For many of good reasons, I'll start throwing out the stats. Maybe I'll get to some that you guys do have, don't have. Now, we're very critical on him, rightfully so. At least I can speak from a team captain, team coach, where I want my drivers to execute throughout the season. He's not doing well, but he is improving where it counts on the ovals. I'll say that. Finally starting to get some top 20s. Maybe it's because of Rex happening, but I've honestly been a little bit pleased with his last few results because it's a mindset thing too. Now he's starting, maybe not having confidence, but just not being totally down in the dumps after every single race like he was in the beginning of the season. Now, he did finish sixth at Coda earlier this year, and I think that was a little eye-opening because we all expected him to dominate. Did lead 23 laps, which was big, but aside from that, when we're talking about bodies of work, right? We mentioned that for McDowell. Just what he's been able to do and how it's been 5 road courses. You throw in the other 2 Chicago races, so that's 7 total road and street courses for SVG. I'm going to throw out the Chicago from last year because he had an incident there. 6th, 7th, 2nd at Watkins Glen. Obviously, he could have won that race. We talked about that. 10th in the Indy Road Course, which was his first road course race in the Cup Series after that first Chicago victory. To me, it screams SVG. He's the favorite for a reason. I guess I don't got to go on and on because I feel like this is the expected pick, like you said. But I think he is the best of the rest here for good reason. And keep in mind, this is why they put him in this seat, right? All the criticism he's been getting to finally be in that 88 car for more than just the few races this year, knowing how it handles, if any, different than, the Trackhouse equipment, I think, or the car he was in last year. I think he's locked in. So I'm looking forward to seeing him do well.
Yeah, I think this is a very easy one. It's Shane for me as well. Um, we do incident adjusted speed, so you could leave in Chicago last year and look at that. Those 5 races, Coda from this year, he's number 1 in incident adjusted speed, and there's a wide gap between him and second. So he's had a couple things go wrong. Not a lot of top 5s to show for it, but he's fast, man, and I think he is the rightful favorite this week. DraftKings has been opening up fastest lap and most fastest laps, and we've been hurting them. I think we've won 6 out of 7 weeks or something like that. We've placed these bets. The numbers come out; they're very long, but you can take an SVG. He's probably down to 350 or 4 now, but when we took him, he was 550, 5-1. And, then you can afford to have an incident. If he gets out there and runs the fastest lap of the race, the only person that's qualified better in this sample size is Reddick. So I do expect him to start up front as well. Those are the guys that are ripping off these fast laps. I don't know. I think, they drop on Tuesday morning. So if people can, bet on DraftKings, I would say set an alarm for early Tuesday morning. Those lines drop and they are typically have a lot of mistakes. So it's been a good market this year. But yeah, give me SVG. Phil, you going with us?
No, I'm going to go in a different direction to play a game here differently. I mean, look, SVG is the pick for sure. If you're just looking for speed, I'll argue against him briefly and just say, in the last 6 road course races, he's been part of 5 of them. And all we hear is, and all we see in the data is how fast he is, but he has 0 wins. And that's what he's looking for. He's got 1 top 5 out of those 5 races, 3 top 10s, but it's not the layup that I think we all heading into these races expect, right? Like plus 325 is one of his numbers. Like one
Yeah, I
of the
think
books
they
have it.
go. I
It's
think like
ridiculous.
the way that people look at it in the books too. I think is like he's expected to do what Zilic does to the Xfinity Series on a road course or
Yes.
the Truck Series, but this is the Cup Series. It's just way different. So we'll sim it out, and he does. What do we have him fair at? 430. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, does he win a race 18% of the time when he hasn't yet? I mean, I don't like knocking our own numbers, but it's hard to simulate this when we like to follow the speed, and he's been fast. But like you said, it's a good spot to pivot if the finishes aren't there.
Yeah, and I'm not a non-believer in him this week. I took and I saw Brian just called it out in the chat at a better number than I got it for. I took Trackhouse plus 215 because SVG's number is plus
Mhm.
325. Like, give me the rest of them, and I'm going to talk about one of them in a bit.
Brian
So
mentioned that in Discord, and I was like, dude, you have to bet that because
yeah,
SVG is going to be that or could
yeah,
be that.
it's a great number to get that at. I mean, and I'm
Yeah.
happy with plus 215. I think that that's going to change a little bit. But
Yeah.
anyway, so I'm going to go against you guys just for the draft. And I'm going to go with AJ Allmendinger here. So here's the thing. I'm coming at SVG for not winning races, and that's just because of the price situation.
Mm-hmm.
Allmendinger hasn't won races either, but in the last 6 road course races, he's finished 6th 4 times. 4 times. And at Watkins Glen last year, we didn't even get a chance to see him. Like, he doesn't even have a speed rating because he got screwed right off the bat in like 4 laps. So we didn't even get to see him, and he qualified well in that race. So he took a really bad, DNF. So that skews his, uh, numbers there a little bit if you're just looking kind of at a pat down level. But if you dig in a little bit deeper, like, he is definitely a force. And the thing that I think the intangible here with him is he's actually competing for playoffs. Whereas in the past couple of years, we've seen him either not be a factor as a full time driver or spot races filling in trophy hunting. And that's not what he's going for this year. So I think it's a very good thing if you're betting on him because he's going to be playing it, not checkers or wreckers or that sort of thing. He's going to be a factor in a top 5, puts himself in position. He's going to race smart as long as the car holds up, like it didn't at Watkins Glen last year. But he's going to be the guy for his team. Not having SVG to deal with in your own shop is also going to benefit him. So he's the guy. I think he will be a factor for a top 5. And like I said, don't know about a win, but he's part of that Chevy number being so short. So AJ, I think, is just kind of a solid, what do we call it? Comfort food kind of deal.
So this is why I thought that we were going to be chalky because there was only one pick for me right here, and it was AJ Allmendinger. I was picking, those guys at the end, no matter what. Everything you just said. What's crazy? You mentioned the sixth place finishes in the 5 race sample that I was using, the from last year minus Chicago Street and then Coda this year. He's number 1 in this field in true average running position on those road courses without a top 5 finish to show for it.
Wow.
He's due. So the man is due. Here's one thing too that I think is gonna make a nice segue into who I think Tino's gonna pick for his wild card. And the thing about AJ this year, you mentioned full time, not just here trophy hunting. This RCR alliance that this team has is working for AJ. I mean, they are bringing speed to the 1.5s. They're bringing speed everywhere. So he's bringing more speed than Kyle Busch and those guys. So it's like, it's crazy. Kyle seems to be getting better though recently. But I think that RCR Alliance, Kyle Busch is no slouch. Coda this year, I had Kyle Busch number 1 on my true performance score, number 1 in incident adjusted speed. If you look at that sample size, all the races last year, the 5 road courses plus Coda this year, Dinger, 4th best incident adjusted speed in the field. So yeah, give me that. I think AJ's live to win this race as well. So give me AJ here. And Tino, maybe that sets you up for a little layup here, but who do you have for your wild card pick this weekend?
Well, before I get into that, I need everyone to know it would be AJ Allmendinger if I wasn't. I'm picking someone else, but AJ is definitely the pick here. I also want to give a shout out to Daniel Suarez. Crazy, he's not on our boards with this, being the Mexico race and everything like that. But
Bill's still got to go.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So not on our boards yet. For my wild card here, it's gonna be something. How do I translate this? Mi nombre es Tino. Yo soy Pero. Okay. Mi favorito el wild cardo es Kyle Busch. Come on, everyone. You knew I was going with this one here. And honestly, I was locked in beforehand. But once I saw at 8:38, Iowa said he went to Mexico a month ago and had 8 tacos. Well, that's the sign. Kyle Busch, number 8 tacos. We're going to Mexico. I got my Mexico shirt on here from Mexico. Kyle Busch has been my wild card play, and I feel like this is the track, not only because I like Kyle Busch on my wild card, he was the last driver to win at this track. Yeah, sure, 20 years ago. That dog is still the same. So to me, I think he actually has a great chance here to get it done. I'm not going to be surprised if he actually wins this race. Now that's crazy. Now that I'm getting a little too crazy. But I genuinely believe that, because if he does win, it's going to have to be in a scenario like this. That's my point here. And I think they do whatever it takes. And I think he knows with those extra reps, just like AJ has, SVG on road courses, but the drivers that have raced here, I think, will pay dividends, and he's one of them, and I'm really excited. And when you mentioned the RCR Alliance, I was like that Shrek meme. I don't know if you guys have seen it, where he's like, so that's why.
Well, dude, we've seen one road course this year, and he was one of the fastest cars on the track. So, just take that for what it is. Phil, no one has picked Daniel Suarez yet. Are you going to make it happen on the draft?
I just saw Team 54 asked me to pick him. I mean, look, I could do that to be funny, but like I really don't want him, because that's why I took Trackhouse. Like, I have a little bit on him with little skin in the game with him, but I just don't believe in him. And the only way he does well is if sports are fixed. So, like, if NASCAR is fixed, then he's running top 5 and competing for a win. And I can't take that bet. But so I am going to go with one of his teammates. And this is, so como se dice watermelon in Espanol. We're going with Ross Chastain. And Brian, your incident adjusted speed ratings, Chastain is 6th in speed rating on the road courses. He is sneaky good and consistent as well. Like, that's the kind of shit that I'm looking for from a betting standpoint, but also in the draft. I'm looking for points here. So while I would love to take Suarez for a flyer, off the wall, I can still be different with a more consistent teammate of Suarez. And I think it makes a lot more sense. If you're looking at the last 10 true road courses, 8.9 average finish, that's second in all of NASCAR. He's got a win, 4 top 5s, and 7 top 10s out of those 10 road course races. That's wild. Like, that 7 is a very high number compared to the rest of the field. And then you're looking at the road courses since the start of 24, 13.2 average finish. That puts him, average finish, that puts him 8th. And his driver rating is 4th out of everyone. Win the race has him ranked 8th overall. So, like, this is a driver that I think is a snake in the grass. A lot of attention. Again, a lot of attention on the teammates, SVG and Suarez from a media standpoint, right? Microphones in their faces. Oh, SVG, you're not even in the in-season tournament. That's how bad you are. You need this, right? Suarez, oh, you're home. Finally, tell us all about it. Ross is just going to sneak right through everybody and go do his job. So and when we get to Sonoma, maybe I'll be talking about Suarez next week. But Chastain's my pick. So I'm sorry to disappoint the fellas in the chat. Team 54, it hurts my heart. But yeah, and if he does win, you do deserve a victory lap. I'll say that.
Well, I didn't think we'd make it through the show without Suarez, but we did it. That's what makes this show fun. That's a great draft. Man, I just thought it was going to be so much chalkier than it was. We were actually, different in quite a few places. So should be a fun one for us to track over the weekend. And then, whoever wins, pick a charity. We'll donate again, and we'll keep it rolling right into Pocono. We'll keep this short and sweet. Thank everyone for, commenting on the show. There were some great ones. Did we ever find out about a Stone Cold Steve Austin margarita?
Yes, we have that.
I'm not
I saved
I'm
it.
not getting off the air until we know more about that.
Yeah, I needed to.
All right. So for the context, if anyone's coming in late, David said tequila is a must for this race. Feeling some stone cold Steve Austin margs for this one. So it had the boys wondering, what does that entail? What are the ingredients of that? And shout out to him for this. Okay, so that is 3 ounces tequila, 1 to 1.5 ounces of triple sec, 1 to 120, one
I'm looking
lime
at my
juice,
shelf while you say this. Like, yep, got it. Yep, got it.
few drops of agave nectar, shake and then float 1 ounce of Grand Mariner on top. He calls it the Broken Skull Ranch Margarita.
Oh,
David,
dude,
thank
I will be having that on Father's Day for sure. So
you.
we'll try that. Cheers, David. I think David's local, like lives near me. I think he's only like 40 minutes away. Um, from when I did the big guys with Big Tone. So David, we'll have to drink one of those together one day at the track or something. And these boys, for those who don't know, are coming up to the track in August. So maybe we can have a little meet and greet and have some pops. But yeah, great show, guys. I like how we were all different. Should be a lot of fun. You guys, David, everyone in the comments, thank you so much. Makes it a lot of fun. Phil, why don't you tell everyone where they can find all your good work?
Yeah, appreciate everyone tonight. This was a fun one. I thought this was going to be chalky, and it ended up being pretty creative and a lot of activity in the chat. So, at Full Tank Phil on Instagram, it's where I put the race day card out, and find me on X as well at Full Tank Phil. Yeah, happy. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Good Father's Day if you celebrate. And looking ahead, Pocono is my home track. I am kicking around the possibility of being up there for the truck race on Friday. So just put it out there. If anybody is thinking about being up there, let me know. But yeah, hope everyone has a good weekend.
Yeah, it's always fun to meet up with some NASCAR dudes and slam some down before a race. We did that at Bristol too. It was fun. Tino, where can everyone find your good work?
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate all the comments as well. Brian, one of the last ones popping in here saying, go listen to Phil's pod, which is true. Go listen to all Phil's stuff. You can listen to my stuff at Tino, Pattigno. Got all the social media content for you guys coming out. I was on PRN's Pit Reporter show this past week. That was an awesome experience. We did talk a lot about Mexico, so I'll be throwing some clips up from that. If you guys want to just watch a full episode, do it. Give me some feedback as well. You can check that out on their YouTube page, PRN Live, on their social media platforms. You can hear me on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio on Friday morning with my best bets. And I'll be coming back around on Sunday morning for the Nuke the House show. Me and Davey Sequel will be back doing that. Love talking with him. I'll be breaking it down. And this was an awesome time tonight. I really, like Phil said too, and Ryan mentioned it, I didn't know how many of our picks would be the same, but I think when they're not, that makes it even more exciting, especially after a really close finish last weekend. So excited to really lock into this week when practice and qualifying happens. And I appreciate, Brian, thank you very much for becoming a superstar. That means a lot to me, and appreciate all your guys' comments and support as well. It means a lot to me for Win the Race. Everyone that was in this chat here tonight definitely makes it even more better than it already is hanging with the guys.
Yeah, dude, the PRN show was pretty sick. So good work on that. I
Thank
might jump on live with the Nuke boys, Nuke the House guys
you.
on Father's Day for the race. Got a free pass from the wife to be able to just watch the race, round 4 of some golf, and then just kind of chill out. So gonna enjoy that. We'll probably hop on with those guys for part of it or all of it. See how it goes. We'll see how those stone cold margaritas work out. And then yeah, you can catch me on Out of the Groove, not on the Out of the Groove show, but with Eric Step for just kind of a race preview. Every Wednesday we do, 10 to 15 minutes talking about the upcoming race and guys that we like. And then always listen to Angle of Pursuit podcast. Brian and Kyle do a great job breaking down all the bets throughout the week and DFS on the weekend. So go subscribe to that everywhere you get your podcasts, and do it for Win the Race too, the Draft channel. So we are on Spotify. I had someone ask me, like, does this come out as podcast after? Like, yes, this is on Spotify. This is on iTunes. This is wherever you get your podcast. So if you missed the live show, which, if you're listening to this, you probably didn't, but if you wanted to listen to it again and not watch this and just listen in the car or something, you can go on Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff. So thank you guys for listening. We always appreciate it. Have a good Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Enjoy the day, relax. You've earned it, dudes, and enjoy the race. So we'll see you next week.